Prime Minister Alan Chastanet says the next move in the ongoing negotiations with the public sector unions is up to the unions. Prime Minister Chastanet says his government has placed its cards on the table and is open to any credible counter-offer.
If in fact the unions don't believe that 3 months and 50% is the right way, then fine, offer something else. We've indicated the amount that we're trying to save is $50 million. We think that we've been fair. We've not cut anybody's salaries. What we were asked for was for a deferment, so that government will still honor its responsibility to the workers, but through a process of a bond. But I'm hoping that the unions will recognize and come to the table in good faith and offer us an alternative. So if there's something else on the table that can solve the problem, government is amenable to that.
The Prime Minister and Minister for Finance says the government is facing a massive shortfall in revenue collection from a monthly high of about $110 million about 1 year ago to averaging about $55 million in the COVID-19 period. Something, he says, has to give.
It's a difficult time, and so my government is absolutely cognizant of that. We want to make sure that we've always put the safety of solutions first, and we have to also now look at the economy. In the absence of tourism being able to open, have to find alternative things, and that's where the capital projects play such a critical role moving forward.
Prime Minister Chastanet continues to tout what he says is the reasonableness of his proposal to the public servants. The public sector unions disagree, arguing the Prime Minister's offer would be very disruptive to their members. The Prime Minister says, though not his preferred choice, his legal options are a constant consideration.
Look, my government is constantly looking at all of its legal options, but I want to say that we've attempted at all times to interact with the workers and the unions in particular to find an amicable solution. As I've indicated repeatedly, is it a situation where people don't believe that the revenue numbers have dropped? Is it a situation where persons don't believe that there is $700 million in bonds being turned over? Is it a point where people don't believe that not everybody is turning over their bonds? I think that while we have put the evidence out with regards to capital projects that we're doing are not being funded from the recurrent revenue. These were funds that came from the airport tax and also from the gas tax. And these are separate loans that are being funded by those revenue streams. So the argument that by not doing some of these projects is somehow going to create cash for us to pay salaries is not true.
The two parties, the government on one hand and the public sector unions on the other, are as far apart as they have been from the start of the negotiations. But the clock is ticking. The two sides will have to face off at the negotiating table and be willing to compromise if an industrial relations crisis in the public sector is to be averted. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.